Coldwell Banker is calling for a soft landing in the world of commercial real estate. The full survey isn't out until March, but we've got the early results first right here on Squawk Box. Rick Davidson is the president and COO of Coldwell Banker Commercial. And Rick, thanks for being with us this morning.
Thanks for having me, Becky.
All right, this is a survey where you talk to thousands of developers and executives in real estate and ask them what they were thinking about things. What did you find?
Well, there were really two key findings in the survey. Number one, cash is going to be king going relative to the commercial real estate investment markets in 2008. And secondly, both corporate users as well as developers are expecting the markets to continue to perform in 2008.
All right. Is that wishful thinking or is this realistic at this point?
Well, it's yet to be seen as to what will happen relative to the market fundamentals, and that's specifically about, relative to supply and demand. On the investment side of the business, there are a number of buyers that are moving into the marketplace that are cash buyers. The market had heated up quite a bit when debt was available and relatively inexpensive. And a number of those buyers are now moving to the sidelines, and more cash buyers are stepping to the forefront. And they're going to be able to see a number of opportunities that may not have been available even a couple of months ago.
Does that mean cash buyers are coming in and getting lower prices than they could have a few months ago when there was the speculative bubble that was out there?
Well, we are beginning to see, according to Real Capital Analytics, we're beginning to see a downward move in volume of transactions that are occurring. So it's a pretty simple equation. If there's less competition for quality assets, then pricing will probably move.
It hasn't come down to this point, or it is dropping?
It has not.
What was Zell's sale price? Do you remember? Was it 30 or 40?
No, I'm not certain of that.
All right, but he sold it to Blackstone. Blackstone then offloaded a lot to a lot of other people. I don't know if you saw the Times piece on Macklowe and what they're eating at this point. But so you don't have a number on what Zell got and what the assets are worth now.
Well,
30% less than what he got.
We're not in the equities business, so we really don't track REIT stocks and REIT performance.
Right. But what about? I mean, the REITs are composed of underlying commercial real estate, aren't they? Has the underlying commercial real estate dropped 20%?
No, it has not. In fact, the fundamental aspects of our business relative to vacancy rates and rents, which really drive overall values, because the way that commercial real estate is valued is based on a cap rate, if you will, of the income stream. The income stream today for commercial real estate is still healthy, and we have not seen a downward move.
So that was pretty good timing, but the guys that bought Blackstone and who they sold stuff, they're going to be okay, you figure.
Well, it all depends on how they acquired the asset, what the debt is that they have on those assets, how effectively they manage those assets.
A lot of it's still short. They're trying to turn it in a long term, and they got that short-term stuff, and that was the thrust of the piece. Pretty scary. I think he's got a $6 billion nut, Macklowe does it.
Yeah. Rick, we've been trying to ask people for the last couple of weeks, is there a recession coming? From your perspective, what do you think?
Well, we're not in the business of projecting the economy, so...
Sure, but you got to have a pretty good feel of what's happening in your industry and your business. And based on what you're seeing in your industry, does it look like a recession's coming?
Well, based upon our survey results, we see that developers will continue to add properties to their portfolio in 2008. Which means that they will continue to supply the market, and based upon what our corporate respondents said, they expect to continue to require additional commercial real estate in 2008. That says to me that there's equilibrium in the marketplace.
Okay. Rick, thank you very much for coming in today. We do appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
Rick Davidson again, and let's take a quick look at